Oh hi friends, I'm Drew from Borrow Lenses and we're taking a look at the Canon C70. It's the latest camera released in the legendary Canon C line, but it doesn't look like any of its predecessors and towers both physically and pecuniarily over other cinema mirrorless hybrids. Basically what we're trying to figure out is, what's this guy's deal? Okay, so the C70 succeeds the C100 and C200 as the entry point into Canon's C line of digital cinema cameras. Over the last decade, each release in this series has solidified Canon as the premier run-and-gun camera manufacturer, combining traditional camcorder features with cinema image quality. Other brands have certainly caught up, but filmmakers still gravitate to these cameras for what they can't get anywhere else. Canon's autofocus technology, Canon's color science, Canon's intuitive menu navigation. Are these things really the best? Debatable, but this reputation is well deserved with the C line. A lot of times, the cameras won't overly wow you with crazy specs and features, but what they do really well. And the C70 is no different. It's a 4K 120 frames per second camera, offering up to 180 FPS in cropped 2K, capable of shooting 422 10-bit across the board. The C70 is also a transitionary camera in Canon's history, as it's the first C-line cam to use an RF mount. So for event or wedding shooters who have started to switch to RF glass with the release of the photo powerhouse R5 and R6 cameras, the C70 is a great dedicated video option to continue building your RF ecosystem. Important to note though that those still shooting with EF glass aren't left behind, as you lose absolutely no functionality with the use of an EF to RF adapter. Comparing it against its own siblings, simply offering 4K and variable frame rates is a huge step above what the C100 is capable of. And while the C200 offered Canon RAW light, there's a huge quality gap between that and its other 4K option. So with better slow-mo capabilities and plenty of quality recording options at 4K and below, the C70 is a far more versatile tool than its predecessors. The smooshed body style is a way to continue the C-line's heritage while acknowledging the ever-increasing popularity of shooting video on mirrorless cameras. It's larger than the typical small body cams, making it easier to go handheld, but still small enough to fit on a single-hand gimbal like the DJI RS2. Something C-line cameras have never confidently been able to do. And since the C does stand for cinema after all, we'll answer one of the questions popping up more frequently with every release: is the Canon C70 Netflix approved? Indeed it is. But does the C70 shoot RAW? It does not. No RAW recording either internally or externally, and the C70 lacks an SDI out. It's incredibly capable, but doesn't pack the punch of the C300 series as a cinema workhorse. So it's better suited for high-end run and gun and documentary work than daily life on set. Obviously, we can't have a conversation about any new Canon release without comparing it to Sony's latest offerings. And the C70 often gets roped in with the FX3 and A7S III since they're viewed as mirrorless cinema hybrids. Specs are very similar, with the Sonys getting the nod in high-speed shooting, 240 frames per second versus 180. And while the C70 is respectable in low light, nothing can touch the A7S III and FX3 in that department. The C70 is a more expensive camera, retailing at $5,500 upon release, and does have more pro video features missing in the FX3 and A7S III, like built-in NDs and timecode. But what really justifies that price tag? Well, Canon being Canon. You'd opt for the C70 over these Sonys for the features that only the Canon C line can offer. Industry-leading autofocus capabilities, including an impressive facial tracking system. Far greater battery life thanks to the bigger body being able to accommodate larger batteries, and a simpler menu system that allows you to quickly understand the ins and outs of the camera. The touchscreen capability is also a great tool for those that need to easily change settings on the fly. While the C70 is certainly a larger camera than its Sony rivals, the dual audio ports located on the body make you less reliant on the top handle, which is clutch if you need quality audio while operating on a gimbal. This is a detail that could come in handy for documentary or corporate shooters looking to execute a smooth walking time.
Ah, we're going surfing.
With dual mini XLR ports and a kinda large mutant mirrorless build, the C70 could be compared to the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema cameras like the 6K Pro. But again, the C70 is not meant to be a cinema camera. And despite the 6K Pro adding additional audio ports and built-in NDs, it's still better suited for a more controlled set environment. As long as you don't need to shoot RAW and you don't need the extra resolution, and let's be honest, you probably don't, the C70's battery life and all-around features make it a better option for longer, unscripted shoots where you have to be ready for the unknown. So overall, if you're wondering, Canon C70, hey, why? It's because you're a run and gun shooter looking to make the jump from DSLR or mirrorless hybrids. You want pro video features that allow you to handle just about anything thrown at you on a shoot without having to trick out a full cinema rig. Most importantly, you want what only Canon can offer: reputation, reliability, and a realistic learning curve for operation. Isn't alliteration fun? Like racquetball. So if this sounds like the right choice for you and your next video project, rent the Canon C70 and try it for yourself at borrowlenses.com.